My very first, most powerful crystal was Moldavite. Hello everyone! Today is an interesting day because after a year of leaving my crystals outside to charge under the full moon, today is the day that I finally chose to bring my crystals back inside the house. About a year ago, I put them out there to charge in the full moon, like I always do, but I usually bring them back inside, and I just haven't had a desire to do that until right now. So today I'm gonna be putting my crystals away and sharing some of my craziest crystal experiences with you guys. Look at Charlie. Hey Charlie. He looks like a little rabbit with a basket of crystals. I love my little Charlie. I love my little Charlie. So let's get to it. This is the shelving area that I use to put my crystals on. It's a disaster, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up real quick. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe how dusty and full of dog hair everything is. I did not realize how dirty everything was. Holy moly. There was dust everywhere. That is not cool. Also, meet TheSalmaLlama. That's me. That's my future self. My visual manifestation board that I stare at every day. This is my higher self, who I truly am. One day I'll tell you the story of how I found TheSalmaLlama. But anyways, look at this mess. I got to organize all of this. It's gonna be a lot of work. I love this lighter. Anubis and I were kind of a thing in another life. Hello. Okay, now it's time for the crystals. Now that I've gotten everything kind of cleaned up and organized, now it's time for this basket of crystals to make its way in. So I have this big guy. I have no idea what kind of crystal this is. Just real big and juicy. I'm gonna take a moment as well as I put all my crystals away to set an intention, to infuse my energy into them. Make sure they know what's up. Make sure they know what TheSalmaLlama is manifesting and what kind of energy she wants in this room. You know? If we're being honest, I'm infusing them with just pure love and pure joy. That's all I care about. That's the life I want to live. I don't feel the need to be super specific about anything because all I really care about is how I'm gonna feel. So number one, this big daddy. Where are you gonna go? I'll put you in here. This is one of my favorite crystals. I was gifted this crystal by one of my best friends. This crystal came to Egypt with me and went into every single pyramid, tomb, and temple with me. So to me, I feel like it holds the energy of Egypt and that trip, which I think is really cool. And it always reminds me of that trip that I went on. And guess where I got this guy? I got this pyramid. I have my ring light on because the lighting is not the best in my room. This is so bright. Maybe this is better. Far away. Okay, well, I got this guy in Egypt as well. I don't know what this is made out of either. I don't know, but it reminds me of my trip. So also special to me. I have this beautiful round rose quartz. So this will be a perfect crystal to infuse love and joy into. I was gifted this as well. This is a pretty big crystal quartz. I have a few big ones. Oh my God, I have a lot. Ugh. I have four. I have four big crystal quartz. I'm going to infuse these with love and joy as well. Yes. Oh my God, I just realized one of my favorite crystals is missing. I have to check outside and see if it's buried in the dirt. One of my favorite crystals was this small amethyst crystal that I got years ago, and I used to sleep with it. I remember one night I woke up out of a deep sleep, but I was still really relaxed, and I could feel the crystal sending me love and sending all that, like, I can't speak. The crystal was sending all of this love into my body. So I was really impressed with that crystal. I was like, wow, you're doing something. Because I have a lot of crystals that I've collected over the years or been gifted, and I used to be really, really into them, but lately I just haven't been. Don't let them know I said this. But some of them did things, and then others I just like didn't feel or didn't do anything magical. This was another one that I got in Egypt at this temple, and it was so funny. I wanted to take this home, and every time I would pick it up, I would drop something. So I realized it wanted me, like if I took this, I had to leave something behind. So I left a quarter, and then it allowed me to take this. It was an interesting experience. It was like, you must give to receive. So that's what I did. This is a little stone that I got in Egypt. Oh my gosh, I have so much crystal quartz. I think these came with a little crystal grid that I bought literally years ago, probably 7 years ago. I bought a crystal grid for abundance, and it showed you how to make it. I don't remember if it worked or not, to be honest. I'm not like a crystal expert or anything like that. I always thought they were pretty, and honestly, I would like always charge them during the full moon. I would always put intentions into them. I would take them to the beach with me. I'd cleanse them in salt water. I'd like put them all over my body. I'd do all kinds of things. I'd put them in my baths. Sometimes they would really make me feel cleansed or like my body was vibrating. Other times they wouldn't. It was so random, but yeah, I feel like they're all like little people. Like they all have their own energies and their own personalities. Oh, and another thing is like not all of them are good. I had one particular crystal, and it was one that I found, and it was this little black crystal. I would like cleanse it with sage, run it underwater, let it sit outside for days, and then I would like bring it back inside and I would go to sleep with it. For me, it was easiest to feel the energies of my crystals when I would be falling asleep, because you get so relaxed that you could tune into their energies. But this particular crystal, every time I would fall asleep with it, it would make me feel like I was buried alive. Like I would always like feel like I was in a coffin, and it would give me this really eerie, creepy feeling that no crystal has ever given me. And I found it too. So it wasn't one that like I bought or I was gifted. I just had found it. So I think somebody was doing some like weird, probably black magic with that crystal, and I couldn't get the energy out of it, so I just had to bury it. So yeah, if you ever just like have a crystal that is not the vibe, I would just say go bury it somewhere. If you're having some like super weird, creepy experiences, not all of them have good vibes, especially if like somebody else owned them prior. And you always want to cleanse them, even when you're gifted them, because they have that person's energy in them, and you don't want anybody else's energy but yours. I have so many like little small ones from over the years. Selenite always makes me feel really peaceful and cleansed. It is a cleansing crystal in general. I also have a really cute selenite lamp right by my bed. Whew, I feel like really out of breath today. I got these 3 crystals about 6 years ago. They're called serpentine. So 6 years ago, I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening when I was laying down, falling asleep. I decided I want to make that happen again. So I read that this crystal serpentine helps that happen. It didn't, nothing happened, but that's why I got these 3. That's how these 3 ended up in my life. Oh my gosh. So I have no idea what this crystal is. I was at a friend's house, and she had all of these crystals in a Ziploc bag. And I remember telling her like, oh, you should take your crystals out. Like they're sad in there. They want to be outside or put away somewhere nicely. Like they don't want to be in a Ziploc bag. You know, that just seems depressing and lonely. Like not a good life for a crystal. I remember looking at the bag, and she's like, oh, pick one, you can have one. And I looked into the bag, and I swear this crystal lit up like there was a glowing white yellow light that came out of the specific crystal. So I grabbed it because I knew it wanted to come home with me, and I didn't know, I thought like maybe something super magical was gonna happen with this crystal, but nothing ever happened. I think it just really wanted to be out of that bag, and it was just like, take me home. So I did, but that was a very, very interesting crystal experience. Let me show you guys what I have going on. So I put my 2 biggest crystals just in there with my Buddha so that they don't fall over anywhere. I have some coins and some feathers and all kinds of interesting little trinkets up here that I like. And this is my crystal shelf. My best friend made me that letter and like wrote the most beautiful flowetry in there for me. So I like to keep it up here. So these are all my crystals. Down here I have some microdoses, some flower essence. I have those angel healing cards. I never really use those. I have some ceremonial cacao. I have my coherence, my heart coherence monitor. This is Sekhmet. So I had a really interesting experience with her in Egypt, and then this picture of her just came into my life randomly. So I'm just like, welcome. Have some space on my altar. And this is where I just put like a bunch of extras like incense, journals, candles, things like that. But before you leave me, I'm gonna tell you about the craziest experience I've had with a crystal. My very first crystal was Moldavite. I was just recording my Moldavite story and my camera died on me, and I don't want to wait for it. I don't want to wait for it to charge, so I'm gonna retell the story on my phone. My very first, most powerful crystal was Moldavite. My friend and I really wanted to know if crystals were real, if they had any energy in them, what they did, what they were about. You know, we heard of people holding them, saying they have energy and about crystal healing, but we didn't have a crystal of our own. So we went to this massive wholesale crystal store and pretty much walked around in circles, didn't know what to do. We were staring at them, putting them in our hands, weren't sure what we were supposed to feel or what we were supposed to be doing. So we asked one of the clerks for help, and he suggested Moldavite. He said it was the most powerful crystal on earth. So I said, give me one of those, please, now. So he took us to the Moldavite area, showed us a few of them, had us feel them. My friend and I both picked our crystal. And I remember as I had it in my hand, I started getting really hot and sweaty, which I didn't realize at the time, but there's something called a Moldavite flush when the frequency is so high that your body has a physical reaction to it and you can just like get really hot and sweaty. So the clerk also told us, wear it only a few hours a day and don't nap with it. Your body needs time to adjust to the frequency because it's so high. So of course, my friend and I were like, let's go home and take a nap with our Moldavites right now. Let's go see what happens. So we're laying there. I immediately start relaxing and pretty much my astral body is ready to fly out of my body. Like I wasn't even fully asleep. I could lift my astral arm out of my physical body. I could have just sat up if I wanted to. I was already familiar with astral travel back then, and I had some strange experiences, so I didn't want to leave my body. So I remember I like just lifted my arm up and down, and then I was like, okay, no thank you. I'm just gonna stay in my body. I'm ready to wake up now. After like fighting the urge to wake up, I finally was able to like wake my physical body up and sit up. And I remember thinking like, whoa, that was pretty powerful. I didn't have to fully relax or anything, and I was able to astral travel if I wanted to. So then that night, I go to bed and I had the craziest experience. So I'm laying there, falling asleep, and I feel like my body is a vibration. Like it's just vibrating. It feels like it's buzzing. And then it feels like something punched me right in the chest, like right here. It sounded like glass was breaking, and it was a hard punch. Like, I think if I was fully awake, I would have started coughing. So I got this punching feeling and this glass breaking feeling, and it was really scary. So I was like trying to wake myself up, but my body was buzzing so hard that I couldn't move. It felt like I remember I could feel my arm moving, but it was moving at the speed of a snail. It felt so heavy, and I just could feel my whole body vibrating. And I'm like, get me out of here. I'm trying to wake up. I want to sit up. I don't want to be here anymore. Finally, I get my body to wake up, and I was just like, holy crap. Immediately like took the Moldavite off, put it away from me, and then went to bed. The next day I put it back on. I left the house and I started feeling all of this love for everyone I saw, and it would make me cry. Like I felt like I felt like I loved everybody so much, people that I didn't know, and I would start crying. And I remember seeing a mom with her child, and I could feel the love that she felt for her child, and I just started crying. I had to like go back home and lock myself away because I was like, what is going on? Why am I feeling all these emotions? I'm not emotional. So Moldavite really started opening my heart up and gave me the ability to feel things that I never felt before. It made me really, really, really sensitive. things that I used to block out, things that I thought didn't bother me, started bothering me. And I would have a very intense emotional reaction to it. Like, I went out on New Year's with my friends. They were drinking, but we always drink on New Year's. And I just start bawling my eyes out on the sidewalk, being like, oh my God, they don't love themselves. They don't love their bodies. It took me a while to adjust. I never had that sensitivity before. And now I'm still that sensitive, but I just know how to deal with it more. It connected me to my emotions. So I had Moldavite for about 2 years, and a lot of things happened while I had it because I started wearing it every day. And I think it really did help me kind of fast forward my spiritual journey. And I lost it the first week that I moved to Hawaii. And Moldavite works a lot with the heart chakra. And some people say that specifically Maui is the heart chakra of Earth. So it was like, okay, I brought you to Hawaii, I did my job, see you later. And it was literally my favorite crystal ever because I feel like it did so much in so many ways and helped me grow in so many ways. Usually when crystals have a job and they complete their job, they'll disappear. Now, these days, that Moldavite is so popular, it's honestly hard to find Moldavite that's actually real. Like, I've tried to buy 2 after that specific Moldavite, and I got a feeling that they were both fake. I even went back to the same store that I bought my original one from, and I still feel like I got a fake one. So, I don't know. Moldavite is intense, and it will really stir things up in your life. Don't get it if you're not ready. And honestly, even if you try and get it, I don't know if you're going to find a real one because I got mine 10 years ago before people really knew about Moldavite, before it got really popular. Well, anyways, thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.